दुर्जनो सज्जनो भूयात् सज्जनः शान्तिमाप्नुयात् शान्तो मुच्येत बन्धेभ्यो मुक्ताश्चान्यान् विमोचयेत्. O Lord, please bless every one of us, so that let all the wicked people be transformed into righteous people. May the righteous people attain peace and reach God realization, the final path. And the people who have attained the eternal peace may help others to attain that eternal peace or supreme bliss. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, we are discussing Narada's aphorisms on bhakti. We were discussing the the means to attain bhakti, the supreme devotion, the supreme love towards God. Celestial sage Narada was telling what to do and what not to do. He was telling, avoid the evil company. Why? If you avoid the evil company, or if you are having the evil company, what happens? That will promote you, that will make you to think, or it encourages wrong thoughts, bad thoughts, or evil thoughts, the evil company. And lust, anger, greedy, jealousy, delusion, all these things can come into you. Because of that, loss of discrimination, viveka shunya, you will become. Once discrimination you have lost, then so you will be the almost dead person spiritually. Why? Because you have deviated from the righteous path. So we should avoid the evil company, evil thoughts, evil mindset. Such type of so many don'ts, celestial sage Narada, he told, and we have discussed in the previous class. So they are inversely proportional to spiritual life or devotional life, or to attain the God, to become gentleman or woman. And he also started telling what to do. What not to do is called vairagya, we can say, and what to do, that is abhyasa, which is also very, very important. Having a holy company is a paramount for spiritual life. By having the holy company, it encourages the individual to have the righteous thoughts, good thoughts, proper thoughts, which are constructive at personal level, even at the society level. And when you got the holy person or holy thoughts, what happens? It encourages you to have the divine life, or to think more and more about the divinity, more and more about the God, more and more about the transcendental reality, suprasensual things, and you will become near to oneself, that is the Atman or the Brahman, and you will be nearer to God. And celestial sage Narada, he goes to the extent saying that it is nothing but divine grace or Almighty's grace if you are having a holy company. Even the greatest philosopher, Adi Shankaracharya, also says the three things are rarest in the human life. What is that? Manushyattvam, mumukshatvam, mahapurusha samshaya. Having a human body or human life, not only human life or human body, having a humanity is very important, which is rare. The second is mumukshatva, intense desire for liberation, intense desire for God realization, which is rare indeed. Second one. The third is having the holy company. Company of holy people getting is indeed rarest thing. One who has got all these three things, they're really blessed, as told by Adi Shankaracharya, the greatest Advaita philosopher, the philosopher of non-duality. Now, even the celestial sage Narada also opines that having the holy company of holy people, it is rare indeed, it is Almighty's grace. And just having a holy company is enough. It helps you to progress or for progressing to progress in spiritual life, no doubt. But that is not only enough. We have to make use of it and we have to struggle, isn't it? So, what to do? He also is saying, Yo vivikta stanam sevate, yo loka bandam unmulayati, yo nistraigunyo bhavati, yo yogakshemam yajati. He's giving 3 4 conditions. What is that? Yo vivikta stanam sevate. One who lives, one who has got a solitude life, one who lives in solitude, yo lokabandham unmulayati, means one who uproots the worldly ties or worldly bondage, one who has detached from this worldly world, and yo nistraigunyo bhavati, one who is free from trigunas, yo yogakshemam tejati, obtaining things and their preservation of the worldly things, who gives up, who renounces, he gets devotion, he attains God realization. Now let us try to understand each one. One who lives in the solitude. What does it mean? Even Sri Ramakrishna also says that the people who are living in this world, once in a while, they should go to solitude and they should think of themselves. What they are doing, is it right or wrong? They have to do examine of themselves, of their nature, of their character, or of their behavior, or of their conduct, everything. So that it will help every individual to shape his or her personality. Now, the question may come for us, why it is required? Why it is required? Because when we are in the hustle bustle of life, we are so much busy in this life, we may forget God. We may forget higher things. But when we go to solitude, when there is no disturbance externally, then we'll be able to understand how much my mind is disturbed. And how much there's a disturbance in my mind, I'll be able to understand. So, to understand myself, to understand oneself, to understand one's own state of mind, we need solitude. So, the one meaning, the general meaning is going to forest or going to the place where no one is there or very few people are there. So I can spend most of my quality time in God, in thinking God, in self-analysis, in understanding myself, studies, spiritual practices. That is what external solitude means, without much disturbances. The other is internal solitude. I may stay wherever, either in the midst of the city or in the forest, if I can keep away myself from the unnecessary things and try to be with myself, try to be with the God, try to be with the divinity, with the consciousness, even that is also called solitude. Trying to spend more qualitative time with the divine, with the God, that's what solitude can be also said. We are trying to do every day maybe some scriptural practices, some spiritual practices, scriptural study, some prayers and all. But some point of time, to rejuvenate, to quicken our progress, to speed up our progress, we have to do some extra homework, extra spiritual practices. For that, we have to be in solitude externally as well as internally. That's why even celestial sage Narada says that if you want to improve your spiritual life, and if you want to increase, if you would like to increase your devotion, go to solitude, spend quality time in spiritual pursuits, in spiritual practices. Now, that is the first, one of the sadhana as prescribed by celestial sage Narada. So what is the reason behind it? What is the logic behind it? Because when we are in the What do you say? When you are in the lot of noisy atmosphere, you'll not be able to understand who are you or what is your nature of the mind to larger extent. So, for an example, you are in the fair. Oh, so many people are coming, going, playing, there are shouting, things are happening. So you will not be able to hear so many any voice properly or clearly. Whereas hardly people are there, say in the forest. Then whoever speaks, even in a little low voice, comparatively, even will be able to hear. Why? Because of the silence. Once the external surroundings, when there is a silence in the external surroundings, then we'll be able to understand, we'll be able to analyze how much there is a disturbance, how much there is a restlessness, how much there is a unsteadiness in my mind or of my mind. So for that, so celestial sage Narada is telling one of the practice to attain devotion is live in solitude once in a while, as much as possible. Then yo loka bandam unmulayati means one has to cut the worldly ties. What does it mean? Then is Narada is asking that everyone should renounce the world and they should take the ascetic life? They should become monks or nuns? Does he mean that? No. He is only telling that try to try to be free from the worldliness, not from the world. Just like beautifully to make this point clear, Sri Ramakrishna says, look, if you are in the world, there is no problem. But world or worldliness should not be in your mind. That is what important. Now, what does it mean and how to understand? Sri Ramakrishna explains further. If the boat is in the water, then there is no problem. And of course, boat has to be in the water. Then that is its function. But the water should not enter the boat. If the water enters the boat, slowly, slowly, when the level of water increases in the boat can sink. So if I'm living in the world, no problem. But the world should not be in me, or the worldliness should not be in me. That is what Sri Ramakrishna mean. If you have studied the life of Sri Ramakrishna or the gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, that is teachings of Sri Ramakrishna, we can see some people used to come to Dakshineshwar to hear the gospel or to hear the immortal teachings of Sri Ramakrishna, to seek the help for their spiritual life. Some they used to come to test him, and some of them they used to come with a worldly mindset. Even when they come there, they used to talk about marriage, they used to talk about the worldly affairs, they used to talk about the business transactions, all these things. So Sri Ramakrishna used to intelligently pack them. There's a beautiful garden outside. There is a Ganges is river. The Ganges river is flowing. How beautiful it will be. Why don't you enjoy that nature? Why don't you see that? Why don't you see this? And if you are interested again, you can come back. Many of them, when they go, they used to see the garden, they used to see the temple complex and river and little prayer having a bath, and they used to go away. They never used to turn back towards Sri Ramakrishna. But such a saint incarnation, even when they go there, some of the people they used to have that worldly talks. Why? Because so much the worldliness was there in deep in their life. So if you are living in the world, there is no problem. The worldliness should not live in you. That is what Narada is saying, that yo lokabandham unmulayati. Attachment to the world, attachment to these worldly pleasures, attachment to the worldly objects. We need objects, no doubt. I need clothes. I need a pen to write and read. Fine. I need 2 or 3 pens. Fine. But I need fountain pen only. Okay. To write one good pen is fine. Instead of that, having gone accumulating so many pens, what is the use? I need one house to live. Fine. Have it. I should. I should. I try to have 10 houses. At what cost? That is what very important. So there is a difference between necessity and desire. There's a difference between the necessity and unnecessary accumulation of things. So whatever necessity, we should have it, no doubt, to take care of ourselves, to take care of family members, and in the future life, sometimes we all plan, no doubt. That should be have. We should have it. But we should not only obsessed with these things and forget God or forget the spiritual life or the divinity. That's what the author means here. So we should try to reduce the worldliness in one's own life. Otherwise, what happens? We will be obsessed with this. We will be always busy in that acquiring these things. And again, we will acquire, we will enjoy, we will suffer, and we'll be in the midst of duality. And after the death, again, we will take birth. And again, we have to start this process. So if someone wishes to have the eternal peace, unswavering devotion, then ananda, bliss, then you have to slowly detach from the world or from the reduce the worldliness. Then you can have devotion. Bhoga, the pleasure, and yoga, the spirituality, both cannot go hand in hand. One should reduce, then only other can increase. Yo nistraigunyo bhavati. If you want to have a steadfast devotion, you should cross the three gunas. You should go beyond three gunas. You should transcend three gunas. So, what are these three gunas? Three types of qualities. If you have heard my Tattvabodha and Aparokshanubhuti talk, here in detail I have discussed. Quality, what is that? One is Tamo Guna. Our nature has been categorized into three gunas. The whole world is made from these three gunas, and even including me, my nature is also composition of these three gunas. One is what? Tamo Guna. It is inertia. Someone is very lazy. He or she is not interested in any work. He or she wants to eat nicely, sleep nicely, and if someone feeds them, someone gives them money, it is okay. They don't want to work actually in reality. They are very laziest people. Even that laziness is there in many of us, in all of us, isn't it? Why? Because of this tamo guna, this the inertia, quality of inertia. Then the other is called rajoguna. Rajoguna is active. I want to do this, I don't want to do this, I want this, I don't want this, and being an hyperactive, active and hyperactive. This is what rajoguna, full of activity. Restlessness also. Then sattvika guna, sattva guna. Sattva guna, I want to live a calm life. I want to lead a simple life. Knowledge per se. I want to acquire more and more knowledge. So some would like to live at the level of thoughts and ideas, like Albert Einstein, for an example, Srinivasa Ramanujan, the great mathematician. They want to spend more and more austerities. They want to have the fine happiness, the finer happiness. Even their minds will be pure comparatively, but they will be obsessed with the fine happiness, fine pleasures. That is what sattva guna. These three gunas, these three are also binding a embodied soul, individual soul to the world. And we cannot see the God. If you want to see the God, if you want to have a self-realization or God realization, you have to go beyond these three gunas. So even the author is also telling that Nistraigunyo bhavati. Once you get a devotion, what will happen? You will cross, you will transcend this three gunas. Means God dependence life will come. Paravairagya. One who has crossed these three gunas, he gets paravairagya. Means he will have the highest devotion so that he will be able to realize God, see the God, experience God, and he will be one with the God. A beautiful example is given by Sri Ramakrishna. Once, a business person was going, he was going to one different city. In the olden days, they had to walk, and to reach that city, he had to cross the forest. When he entered the forest, a group of thieves attacked on him, and whatever the gold and money, materials were there, everything was snatched. Then, after taking away, the thieves started thinking, what should we do? They started discussing. Some of them said, we will kill him because he may go and complain to the police, Gada. So better we will kill him. Among them, some of them, they said, no, no, why to kill him? It is better, we will not kill him. We will tie him here onto the tree. If his luck is there, if someone comes, he will be released. Otherwise, he will die. Maybe some animals may come and eat, or he may die out of starvation. And among them, only one person was interested. Anyhow, we are doing a wrong thing. Why to kill and add some more wrong thing? It is better we should leave him free. But he was very sure that if I say, because I'm minority, if I say, these people will not listen. He had kept quiet. Then they said, okay, we will tie him into the tree. And he was tied to a tree. And they all said, if you inform anyway to the police or guard, we will kill you. Be careful, like that. They alarmed them, and they gave a warning, and all of them they left. After a few moments, one person slowly among that band or a group, one thief came. And this time the thief was very much, the business person or the rich person was thinking, okay, I think he's coming to kill me. So he was fearing, and he was praying to God and all. Then he came slowly, and he said, don't fear. And he untied the knots, and he said, he come, I will show the path. And he said, and he showed the path, and he wanted to return. The thief wanted to return. The rich person was very much moved by his good gesture and by his good nature. He said, look, it looks like that you are a good person. Why are you in this group? Please come with me. I will help you. Because I've got a lot of money, wealth with me. I will help you because you have spared my life. You have helped me. So I will give you some wealth. I will help you by providing some wealth. You can do some business or whatever. Then he said, no, I cannot come. Why? Because if I come, police will catch and they will punish me. So I cannot come, sorry. This is the path. If you go a little further, then you will come out from the forest. And if you continue in the same path, you will reach the city, your destination. And he said, and he went inside the forest. The people who wanted to kill this rich person, that Tamogunis, the people who said, we will bind him, we will tie to the tree, we will not kill him, that is Rajogunis. And a person who came and who untied him and who showed the path, and he said, I'm a thief because if I come to the city, city, I will be caught by police. Police will catch me and they will punish me. So sorry, I cannot. Though he's a good person, good natured person, but still is a bound. He cannot come into the main city. This is what Sattva-guna. Sattva-guna is much more better than these two gunas, no doubt, but still it is also a subtle bondage. Like that can be the Sattva-guna can be compared to golden chain, and other two can be compared to bronze, silver chain, and the iron chain. Chain is chain, bondage is bondage. So if you want to be free person, then you should not have any chain at all. So that's what even the celestial sage Narada is telling. By devotion, you will attain or you will transcend these three gunas. What are the tamoguna, rajoguna, and sattva-guna? Then yoga kshemam tyajati. Yoga and kshema. Yoga means what? Yoga means yoga asanas. In Ashtanga Yoga, I'm giving a Saturday lecture. Their yoga means Ashtanga Yoga, 8 limbs of yoga. Yoga means two meanings we have discussed in the introductory class. One is joining the individual soul, joining with the Supreme Soul. The other is complete cessation of ideas or vrittis or thoughts, so that there will be differentiation, discrimination of Purusha and Prakriti. That is what Mukti or Moksha or Kaivalya according to Sankhya Yoga. Here, Yoga Tyajati, renouncing of yoga. What is the renouncing of yoga? What does it mean? What does the author wants to tell here? Here, yoga means accumulation. Here, yoga means obtaining things, procuring things of the world. And kshema is their preservation. See, this is the one problem with the Sanskrit. It is not problem, it is its uniqueness. With one word, there are different shades of meaning. Sometimes the meanings are just opposite. That's why we need a guru, teacher. Otherwise, we can misunderstand. Here, yoga kshema. Yoga means one is acquiring things, and the kshema means preservation of the acquired things. Tejati. One should give up acquiring things, and also one should give up preserving things. Then the question comes, Swamiji, you are a monk. You can say that. We are in the world. We have got a family. Someone will feed you, fine, but who will feed us? So we need to have things in the house to take care of our life, to take care of me, to take care of my wife and children, family members. How can you say that? I think it is not possible. It is not practical, isn't it, Swamiji? So there we can think that We should not be obsessed with these mere things. I mean, we should not stop ourselves, because people, sometimes we can see people are always busy in acquiring things and preservation of that acquired things. They are busy, so we should not stop there. The necessity, these are all there are basic necessities of life. Yeah, get it, try to get it, have it, no doubt, but don't stop there. That is one of the meaning of tejati. The second thing is because there need, just like I need slippers for walking, otherwise I may get hurt in the road. That's fine. So similarly, so many materialistic accomplishments or prosperity is required as a necessity to live in the mundane life, in the empirical life. But we should not stop there. One thing, and we should not get attached, and we should not leave the, or we should not forget the God or the higher things. This can be the second meaning, and the ultimate meaning is we should try to live God dependence life. We are depending on the world. Instead of that, God dependence life should be there. If you see in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, we understand very clearly. He had dependent, his life was dependent on Mother Kali. He never asked for any things. I want this, I want that, except devotion. He didn't ask anything. And again, he came from poor family. He had hardly few sets of, maybe 2 3 sets of clothes, or very few clothes, and there was nothing materialistic possessions for him. But he never bothered. Why? He was never perturbed. Why? Because he had God dependence life, and whatever is necessary, God, Mother Kali or God protected him. From humanistic point of view, if you see, and also in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord himself said, whoever has dedicated his life for me, I will take care. Yogakshemam vahamyam. The bhakta has no care even for his personal needs. So the Lord arranges for whatever is required for his life on this mundane earth. Even if you're leading a God dependence life, whatever is required for you, everything you will get it. Sri Ramakrishna needed some special things for his sadhana. Mathuranath was prepared, I mean provided. So like that, whatever is required for him during his sadhana, during his life, everything was provided by God or Mother Kali or the God. So when you have the God dependence life, you will get probably more things. So instead of having the worldly dependence, you should have a God dependence. This is what spiritual life is. So shift yourself, shift your dependence from the world to the God. And also yoga kshemam tejati, and also we can say that, like, intense desire for enjoying this mundane world and the other worlds, maybe heaven or different worlds are there. Even enjoy, I mean, staying there and enjoying the pleasures in that above worlds also should be given up. Then only a person can have the devotion completely. Then the question may come, oh Swami, I don't believe. Okay, fine. If you don't believe in the worlds, you should think that, okay, someone may be interested in going to US and settle. Someone may be interested in Australia or in Europe. Why? Their life is nice, their life is very safe, etc., etc. Their riches are there, there are a lot of pleasurable things are there. Some people keep thinking. So even that type of desire should be given up. For whom? Who wants unswearing devotion? Who wants God realization? Who wants spiritual life? For them only. If you don't want, then there is no need. That you have to be clear. Then again, few other spiritual practices has been told in the next aphorism by celestial sage Narada. Yaha karma phalam tejati karmani sanyasati tato nirvandvo bhavati. He transcends the duality of the world. Who? Yaha karma phalam tejati. One who renounces the fruits of action results. Why? Because if you don't do it, the karma bandhana will happen. The karma, whatever the action we do, the action produces results, that results binds you. How? You have to, if you have done a good work, then you will have a virtue, then you have to enjoy. If you have done a bad actions, then the result will be sin, then for that you have to suffer. So you have got 10 good actions, then you are enjoying, and you have got 5 bad actions, then you are suffering. And while doing that, again you will be doing some other works. good or bad, that will have to reap its fruits. That is like a cycle, again and again, same thing. You are whatever you've done, and for that you are enjoying or suffering, and during that time again you do some good work or bad work, and you have to enjoy and suffer. Like that, it keeps on going, it keeps on multiplying, and it is a cycle. There is never end. Then if you want to end this cycle, if you want to break this cycle of samsara, cycle of birth and death, then you should start offering the fruits of action to the Lord. Oh Lord, let me become the instrument. Let me become the instrument of you and do the work. So that he or she will not be bound by action. Karmanne vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbu ma te sangostva karmani. Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, oh Arjuna, you got a right to perform actions, but don't get attached into the fruits of action, because otherwise it binds you. Even if you say empirical world, even in a normal thing, if you are saying, say for example, you're playing cricket. We want to win the match, no doubt. When you are playing, if you go on thinking every ball, okay, ball comes, I may be out, or I may have a sixth, I may face the ball and I may get 4 runs, 6 runs. Like that, if you're gone obsessed with the fruits, with the success only, your mind will be thinking in that only, it gets distracted and you cannot play well. Look, in the game, either you will have to win or your opposite people have to win. So, okay, you want to win, fine. You struggle and you work hard for that, never mind. But while playing, just you play. I mean, concentrate your mind on play, not thinking about its fruits, then you'll be able to perform or you'll be able to play better. But if you keep on thinking about it, then you'll not be able to. Say, for an example, a student has to face exam. There's a question paper is given. He has to read the question, understand it, and he's supposed to answer. Okay, if I write answer, how much marks I will get, and how much total marks I will get, and what all other students are there, and where I will stand, whether I will be standing, having a place first, or second, or third, or four, or five, or 10. If you are having obsessed with these fruits of action, the results, then you'll not be able to perform your actions properly. Even in the day-to-day thing, if you see, if you are obsessed with the fruits of action, you will not be able to perform the action in a right way or in the perfect way. Then what to speak of spiritual practice? If you want to be get rid of the bondage, and if you want to have a purification of the mind, then you should perform action, good action, but at the same time, you should not be attached to the fruits of action, that is told by Narada. Then karmani sannyasati. One should give up actions itself. Oh my God, this is not possible. This is a beautiful story. Once a saint was sitting near the worship place, outside the worship place, just he was simply sitting at the corner. So he was there from long time. The temple authorities or the worship place authorities, they knew. Out of respect, because since he was a holy man, out of respect, morning and evening, he was given 2 packets of food, whichever they were preparing in the church or in the worship place. So there was a change in the officer. He came and he started taking he took the administration of the worship place, and he was looking after the account. Then there was a mention that a silent holy man, a holy man who is silent, for him morning and evening 2 packets of food is given freely. He was very strict, and he said, no, it is not right. And he's not doing any work and he's sitting simply quietly. You are saying that means he's a lazy fellow, lethargical fellow. We should not give him, and you should stop it. And the food supply for him was stopped. Then the holy man came to know, but he didn't answer, he didn't react. This is very important. He didn't react, he kept quiet. Then after a day or two, the officer was going in that particular path. There he saw a holy man sitting simply. Then the officer understood, this is that holy man, simply sitting holy man. And simply sitting holy man also understood this is an officer. Then the officer started, oh, you are that simply sitting holy man. The holy man smilingly he nodded his head. Why you people are wasting your life? Why you people are like parasites depending on someone's life, someone's earnings? Why don't you work? Like that, he gave his lecture and he scolded them. Then that silently sitting, simply sitting, observing silence, the holy man who was observing silence, he said, my dear, thank you for your advice. Can you come and sit simply? Are you capable of sitting simply? Come and sitting. Then he said, yes, anyone can do. What is the nonsense, rubbish? I have got better things to do. Why you want to sit? Simply. Then the holy man said, yes, yes, I know that. Tomorrow, why don't you come? Tomorrow, whenever you're free, why don't you come and sit simply? Then he said, yes, after 2, 3 days, I am busy. After 2, 3 days, I will come. Then on the prescribed date and time, the officer went. And the holy man said, and he signaled him, come sit here silently. He sat 15, 20 minutes over, half an hour. Some idea, some question came. Then the officer wanted to ask that holy man that question. He tried to ask the question. The holy man said, sit simply. Then he thought 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour over. Again, he wanted to ask something. He said, sit simply. Silently, observe silence. Then 1.5 hours, 2 hours over. Then he wanted to ask something. He said, sit simply. Then by the 2.5, 3 hours, he became restless, terrible restless. Said, Swami, sir, venerable sir, you have to speak something. You can't make me to sit simply. I said, anyone can sit simply. It is a waste of time according to you. Why don't you sit simply? Then he understood how difficult it is to sit simply. Only the fool and the realized person, only these two people can sit simply, otherwise others are not. Physically we may sit, but internally or mentally there will be terrible activities will be going on. Then he understood, he asked his pardon and he went back to office and he increased, instead of 2 packets, 4 packets of food shall be given from today onwards for that holy man. So sitting simply is not our aim. Then why Narada is telling renounce the actions? Renounce the action is renounce the selfish action and renounce the sinful actions, the bad actions we have to take. Means the actions which are the intention of actions which bring good to the society, which brings beneficial to the society, service activities, philanthropic activities, we have to do it. We should do it, no doubt. But there are some activities which are always obsessed with my only materialistic progression. It is only that much only I'm thinking. If it is so, then the sage is saying that better you try to lessen it. As a necessity, how much of it is okay, but you should not keep yourself busy in that just mere having the material pursuits. Or I want this, I want that, I want this, or I want that, and work for that. Initially, it is okay, but who want to have a spiritual progress and won't have self-relation or God relation, they should try to get away from this kamya karma, we say, the work or the actions which is motivated by selfish desires, materialistic pursuits, or accomplishing of the materialistic pleasures. Means actions prompted by self-interest towards materialistic accomplishments or materialistic enjoyments, pleasurable life, having pleasures. And Gita says to the extent you should not cook food for yourself. He will be selfish. Instead of that, cook the food and feed some others, even help others. I mean, serve others. Try to feed some people, at least 1 or 2 people hungry should be quenched. Then you can take the food. That's why if you see in India in the olden days, before their eating, they used to go and feed some animals. They used to feed some beggars and they used to eat. It is a beautiful concept called yagna. I mean, serving others, helping others, because we are getting a lot of help, so that we are leading the life. And at the same time, as a token of gratitude and respect, we should also help others. We should serve others. That's what I mean. And the concept of give and take should be there. Then tataha nirdvandvo bhavati. One who is renouncing the fruits of action and one who is renouncing the actions which are motivated by to achieve the pleasurable life, then he transcends the duality. What is the duality? The whole world is with full of dualities: good, bad, right, wrong, happiness, sorrow, isn't it? Summer season, winter season, virtue, sin. So the world is full of dualities. So if you want to transcend yourself from this duality, this world of duality, then you have to practice all this spiritual uh, rules, regulations, spiritual sadhana, spiritual practices, as told by sage Narada. And that's why sannyasati means it is not only renunciation, it is dedication. So dedication to the Lord, dedication to the right actions is important. At the same time, renouncing the bad actions, actions with sin or sinful actions, and renouncing the attachment towards the fruits has to be removed or has to be checked. In the 49th aphorism, he says, Yo Vedanapi Sanyasati Kevalam Avicchinnanuragam Labate. Means if you want to get avichinna anuraga, uninterrupted love towards God, what you should do? Even you should renounce Vedic actions. So the in Sanatana Dharma only we can see that even you should go beyond the scriptures. In the Semitic religions, you have to follow their scriptures to the letter. That's it. You cannot question it. You cannot go beyond it. But the Vedas, which are the basic text, the basic source for the Sanatana Dharma or Hindu Dharma, it can be any sect of the Hindu Dharma or Sanatana Dharma. Of course, the Vedas are universal in nature too. They're saying that you should go beyond the Vedas. There's the only Dharma, there's the only scripture. Vedas tell that you transcend the Vedas. So here the same idea has been given, Vedanapi Sanyasati, who renounces Vedic actions, one who gives up the Vedic actions. What does it mean here? That means Veda should be given up, study of Veda should be given up, or the actions and whatever has been prescribed in the Vedas should be given up. What does they mean? Here means in the Vedas, we have got three portions. One is Karma Kanda. Karma Kanda is with full of rituals, different type of sacrifices, rituals, actions, which is to attain heaven, which is to attain materialistic prosperity, which is to attain progeny, which helps to attain lot of materialistic comforts. The other is Aranyaka, which speaks of upasanas, meditations, different types of meditation. Then the other is Gnanakanda, that is Upanishads, speculation, intellectual speculation. What is the ultimate truth? Now, here, when one who has to renounce the Vedic actions means one who he has to renounce this ritualistic portion, means the actions which are meant for materialistic prosperity alone has to be given up. Means here, instead of doing nothing, doing right actions is better. Doing right actions is better, but at the same time, doing right actions without attaching to the fruits of action is better. So now here, Vedanam api sanyasati, even you should renounce the actions prescribed by the Vedas, means you should renounce the attachment to the fruits of action. That's what we mean. We need rituals, we need sacrifices, we need customs, and we need interest in the, or we need, probably initially we will be required attachment towards action and its results and all. But slowly, when we have to progress, slowly, we should give up these things and we should speculate and we should depend ourselves more on God and on the soul or on the consciousness. So renunciation of ego and renunciation of fruits of action should be practiced, and dependence on God, God dependence life, and spiritual life, or the life is with the conscious, is what? Conscious life, or life with the consciousness and awareness, has to be practiced. That is what this idiom. Kevalam Kevalam avichinna anuragam ravate means without doing all these things, you will not be able to get the paravairagya or anuraga or parabhakti. Means unswearing devotion towards the Lord. Today I have got devotion, I prayed, I meditated, I did bhajans, 2-3 days fun way. Afterwards, no, I will forget. Or I may reduce my spiritual practices or devotional practices. Again, after some time, I remember and I do, and I forget, do, forget. These things, it happens in our spiritual life. If you want to have unaltered devotion, unswearing devotion for you, if you wish so, then you have to you have to practice all these things. What is anuraga? Intense desire for Lord. I want God and God alone. I want to have that God realization. Such type of mindset, if you get, then you can have God realization. One who wants God realization, one who wants self realization alone, for them all these practices are told that we should be clear. So when you practice all these things, when you attain all these divine qualities, spiritual qualities, what happens? Well, the celestial sage Narada ends in this next aphorism, 50th aphorism, Salokam Starayati. He goes beyond, and he also help others. Means he goes beyond this ocean of Maya, the ocean of samsara, which is cycle of birth and death. He will be liberated person. He will have God realization. He will experience the God. Now for us, God is a speculation. We have got some faith and belief. We are trying to remember God. We are trying to chant his name. We are trying to sing his glories and all. It is more of belief and speculation. But for him, it is a matter of experience. This is what we see. So Vivekananda asked Naren, as a Narendranath to Sri Ramakrishna, Sir, have you seen God? Sri Ramakrishna said, Yes, I have seen God. But the difference is I have seen the God more clearly than I am seeing you. And if you want God, I can show you, I can help you. But you tell me, how many people are there? How many people they want God? For Sri Ramakrishna, the God was not mere speculation, it was an experience. It was a matter of fact. So when you practices all these things, the means whichever has been told from 34th to 49th verses, all these things are the means to attain that anuraga or parabhakti, unswearing or unaltering devotion to the Lord. If you practice, what happens? You'll be free person from the cycle of birth and death, and you will get the eternal peace, and you will get the God realization. The God will be a matter of experience or fact. It is not mere speculation. And again, Lokans Tarayati. Out of compassion, he helps others. In the beginning of the class, I told, let Durjano Sajjano Bhuya, Sajjano Shanti Mapnyat, Shanto Mucheta Bandevbhyo, Muktashchanyan Vimochet. The people who have realized, who are free, let them help others. This is what Loka Sangraha. It is one of the unique concept, great concept. Like Swami Vivekananda, Buddha, such great saints, great prophets, they helped the mankind. They have got God realization or self-realization, they could have left without bothering about the world. There are so many spiritual people were there like that. But these people, after attaining that knowledge, devotion, they didn't keep quiet. They try to help the people, others also to reach that state of self-relation or God relation. That is what Loka Sangraha. So once one who practices this and one who gets parabhakti, what happens? He will be freed from the ocean of this samsara, from this cycle of birth and death. He need not to take birth at all. He will be in the eternal bliss. And also, he can help others to be free from this bondage or cycle of samsara. May Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda bless all of us so that let us have this unswearing devotion, unaltered devotion towards Lord, and let us be free person and let us experience that divine bliss. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.